Tanguay for 3 minutes. The clock starts once you hit the talk button. Now you have to hit the talk button. Great, thank you.
All right. I don't know if you can hear this.
His name is Robert Tanguay, Tanguay. And what's his, do you know his date of birth, actually? We don't know his date of birth, no.
This is the Domestic Violence
And
Coalition
then,
calling on
and then where is he currently?
October 31st.
He is in the Legislative Office Building, and he's in the Children and Family Law Committee room, which is room 206 through 208. Must be like an auditorium style.
I would ask you to, could you keep
And a
this
few
to the
times
bill
when he's been
itself?
over in that
Yeah, it
building
is to the
for a
bill.
hearing,
Okay.
He's come across, we're across the street from the State House, so he's come over to our building.
Yeah. So that's the Domestic Violence Coalition. After they invited me to their place to report, bipolar English, I wanted to get some help with domestic violence in my case, in my family. False reports of domestic violence, and then unanswered domestic violence. Doesn't matter what laws we create. Doesn't matter what happens really here. Matters what happens in the courts. The courts don't pursue any of the crimes, such as perjury, as the gentleman did mention, which is a felony. I have some laws which I actually been looking up. I've done a lot of reading, been through a lot of pain, and I've been before y'all, and I do appreciate your standpoint. And so one of them that's very relevant. So we got Title 4D. That's what funds the state. It's actually like about $16 billion fund across the country, where states compete on a competitive basis by issuing child support orders. And that funds our state federally to the tune about $500 million. You know, that's my understanding of it. Section 401 of 42 USC 601 has...
You have 1/2 minute to wrap it up.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Has reasons for getting child support. The purpose of this part is to increase the flexibility of the states operating the program to design to provide assistance to needy families so that children may be cared for in their own homes of relatives. 2, to end the dependence of needy parents on government benefits by preventing job preparation, work, marriage. Reduce the incidence of out-of-wedlock pregnancies. 4, encourage the formation and maintenance of 2-parent families. Section 4026, certification standards for fraud and abuse. And that includes it all the way at the end.
Now, Mr. Tanguay, because we've gone 3 minutes and 15 seconds, so I will ask one question. Do you support the bill?
I do support the bill.
Thank you.
Part of the bill.
Oh, no, that's it. I gave you 3 minutes. I gave you an extra 15 seconds. So thank you for your testimony. And I do have the shut off button here. So thank you. You may go back to your seat now. And the chair recognizes,
Why?
the chair recognizes, the chair.
You see how it is?
Yeah, I do. All right, the chair now recognizes Jane Bergeron from a special, I think it's a special administrator from NHASEA. I'm sorry? 1588. Well, it's okay. We'll look forward to you coming up. I see no more cards on. Chair recognizes Mr. Robert Tanguay again for 3 minutes. Make it count. I bet you can.
little concerned that I thought I was being.
Mic on.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
Hello.
So anyways, I was talking about, and I just looked up the bill. There was a question earlier. It's called the PDPS system, problem driver pointer system. It's basically interstate commerce, where if you agree to get highway money from the federal government, you have to acknowledge other states' tickets, and they have that's attached to licenses. I will get into that if I have some time. What I was talking about was Section 401 of Title 4D, 601, not 606, and so there's a lot of mechanisms that the state has to enforce child support within the court. Contempt of court, boom. And then over and over again, if you keep doing it, then you're going to jail, and people go to jail. And that should be done. But one of the things that they don't follow with 601 of the same scheme is fraud. So if you report fraud, say there's fraud in the case, and your child support arrearages is just so much, and you're contesting that, for them to pull a driver's license is horrible. And I got my driver's license back because in California they said I owed some money, and I said, well, I'm in New Hampshire, you have to prove it, Article 14, and I got my license back. I talked to Earl Sweeney, went all the way up there through the political process, and they just flipped a switch. So we have that, and I also want to bring the committee's attention to the Uniform Support Act of 1955, which I read, and it's on the books. And one of those is amount of support, RSA 546A5. And basically they consider assets. So a lot of times, just picture this. Bill Gates finds a homeless woman and willfully gets her pregnant, and then decides he doesn't want to be with her. He can't just kick her out. And that's what the law states. And in order for, I mean, I could read the law to you, but that's basically what it gets that feeling of it. It's supposed to be equal for children. It's supposed to be, you're not supposed to burden the other party. Doesn't matter. It's all about the children. And then further, there's a law. You can be arrested if you are failure to support, but they have to prove that you have the ability to support. And I can see that you're fidgeting, so I'm getting close.
You are getting close. You got about 45 seconds.
Okay. So child support's interstate commerce. It's funded by federal grant money for the administration of child support, and then with the DMV, and all is said and good in most cases. But I do support this bill passing, because if you take away someone's driver's license in New Hampshire, they absolutely cannot support themselves or their children, and it's a downward slope. Thank
The
you.
rail system is pretty non-there.
Yeah.
Would you take questions?
If there are any, yes.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. And thank you for playing Beat the Clock. 3 minutes, and I'm giving you 4, and I'm going to be held to that, okay?
Thank you. So I'll actually do less than that, and hope that you'll grant
All
me
right.
some candor in 1595. So I am in support of this bill. It just clarifies the language. I feel like the language in the original bill or law is restrictive, saying that it ends when they turn 18, and this way gives it more room to do so. And it doesn't really seem like it will have much of an effect, but it will. It just child support, in my opinion, is something that's kind of used as a tool, and it's brings a lot of funding to the state, and that's good for taxpayers. But the money that comes to the state from Title 4D is coming from federal tax funds, so it's still taxpayers. And I think that child support causes contention, whereas each individual parent should be able to choose how they spend their money on their children and family. And with that, I'll end it. My
Thank
comments.
you so much. Wow. You got 2 minutes and 12 seconds in the time bank for another day. Chair recognizes Mr. Robert Tanguay, who asked for 3 minutes, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and don't fight me on that, sir. That means I got to find my watch.
Okay, you, remember you, well, oh, you got it on the back side? When you, when you turn these in, you should have the bill number on it, so it doesn't get lost in the,
It'll be okay. It'll be
okay, okay.
Okay.
Am I live? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Building.
Well, he's getting ready to do that, so it doesn't count against his time. I think the clerk might like to have somebody help her with this pile of stuff here so we can make packets for the representatives who weren't here, Petrino and Levesque. If somebody would be willing to do it, it'll probably take you about 10 minutes, sprawl it all out. Also, I want to make sure that I get a blurb, a committee report on 1588 from Representative Grossman. To whom? On me, my desk? Oh, it needs to come to me for approval first. Okay. And also eventually Representative Ball in 1598. So if we can find that, I'm asking for her blurb on 1588. It has to go to me first for approval. I'm just, okay? I know. We're remembering the ways to do it. That's okay. Okay, are you ready?
I am.
Rock and roll.
Okay. So what I just passed around was this document right here. Here's a picture of me from my LinkedIn profile with a note. And it's basically just to show the contention that comes into play with family court matters. And a lot of it's over money and financial resources. And basically, child support is a big candy bucket that gets awarded to one party. And it's typically the party that has the kids, and when that's assumed to be typically a mother, that is part of what goes into basically causing families to break up. Breaking up a family is a big deal. It's such a big deal that it's been shown in the Title 4D grant money, and it's taken very lightly now. And so I have an audio clip.
If you what? I'm sorry. I didn't know if I just didn't know if providing a photo or anything like that would be helpful, or if you guys just have your process. Do you have one, or? I do. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll just leave it as is and let them know that you do have a photo if necessary. And are you available on this number, the 8058 number? Absolutely. Yep. Okay.
This is
All
the
right.
Domestic
So
Violence
then
Coalition.
they can reach out to you if they think that that's necessary to get it from you. Thank
Point of
you
order.
so much.
What
problem.
does
Point
this
of-
have to do with the bill?
Remember, we'll suspend for a minute. Point of order.
Mr. Chairman, I don't feel like this has anything to do with the bill.
We need to speak directly to the bill, not to the global issue of child support. This is based on adjusting the support guidelines. So what happens? You can hit your mic back on again, please. Thank you.
I apologize.
That's okay.
So what happens? So that's on October 31st. What happens is when someone decides to end a relationship, it's always one person. one person decides to end a relationship and break up a family. And they do that assuming that they will get the kids and get the child support money. And if you listen to that audio before the point of order was, it was describing that the Domestic Violence Coalition had a picture, and they actually sent a picture to what you're looking at is a picture of me with some criminal defamation in a letter for me to describe that, how I got that at the governor's office. All those videos are on there. So I do support this bill as giving a reason to guide the amount of time that you have with someone, instead of just having a financial incentive to not work. As you heard the previous gentleman stated, he works full time, he makes money, and then the partner will choose not to work, so their income goes down, they get money, and that should be adjusted by the actual costs of time and money rearing. This bill doesn't solve everything, but it solves a lot. And so, and I'd also like to speak a little bit more about, as I brought up in a previous bill, 1955, the Uniform Support Act came out. We codified it in laws, RSA 546. I do recommend that we do put that, if you guys are going to talk about this more, put that on the financial guidelines worksheet, RSA 546A5. When determining the amount due for child support, the court shall consider all relevant factors, including standard of living and the situation of the parties, relative wealth and income of the parties, the ability of the obligor to earn, the ability of the obligee to earn, and the need of the obligee, the age of the parties, responsibility of the obligor for the support of others if they have other children. We've made these laws. If you read the laws, they go back in time. They make sense. Lots of people had to work on them, vote on them, and discuss them before they came out, all the way back to the inception of RSA 461, parental rights and responsibilities. There's a lot of contention. When you hear lawyers speak and testify, they make a lot of money. The more contention, the more money they make, and they use that. And you can see it in my case specific. I can show all those details, and I've brought them all to the people's attention.
You got 1 minute and 20 seconds to go.
Sounds good. So it's important. RSA 546, 55, Uniform Support Act. There are special circumstances where they can deviate from that. However, they're hidden, and they should be put on the form with the child guidelines worksheet. Also, RSA 458C, which is currently in law, requires that the person seeking child support shall file a child guidelines worksheet. They did not do that in my case, yet the judge ordered child support to generate arrearages. And, you know, the point is judges lie in New Hampshire, lawyers lie in New Hampshire, and nobody does anything about it. And if we are able to pass a bill, which I do support this bill, to remove the candy bowl from the person who is ending a relationship and breaking up a family, I think that is a good thing.
Thank you so much. On time, under budget, and with a smile. Thank you. Last card.
Any questions? No.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Are there
No,
any
you're right.
questions? I
You're
know
right.
you guys are tired and such.
You're right.
I would be too.
I was afraid it was going to be all about numbers and columns and things, but that was the last. Okay. Anybody? Nope.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, and the last card, I almost said Guy Lombardo. It is the